Hey guys, welcome back to Wild Moonlight Vlogs, or hello if you're new. My name is Raven, and today we're making an amigurumi. I designed this on Procreate. I do not have a pattern because I don't believe in patterns. I do believe in patterns. I'm just really bad at using them for myself. So this is the second humanoid amigurumi I think I've ever made, and it's the first amigurumi I've made with like limbs and a body in at least a year, maybe longer. I really fell off the whole amigurumi train for a while, which is sad because it's one of my favorite things to do. So let's jump in. All of the yarn that I'm using today is from my stash, so I don't really have labels for most of it, and I don't know the color names or anything of that nature. I'm really sorry. I know that is really useful information to have, but I know a lot of it came from Hobby Lobby, and that is the best I've got for you. Starting off, I went ahead and made the head. I tried to make all of this in one piece just to make it very cohesive, and that's also just how I like to do things. I don't really like to sew on limbs unless I'm going for like a floppy arm kind of look, which is very cute in animals, but not as cute in people. I mean, it can be, but anyways, I started off with the head in a sort of skin tone color. I believe this is I Love This yarn. I have no idea what the color name is, but I love this yarn, and I went up to about 6 rows of increases, and then I just continued on. I stuffed it and put in safety eyes. Before I went ahead with the neck, I think next time I'm going to be making the head bigger. Like I said, I didn't use a pattern, so I have a lot of tweaks that I want to make in the next character, and I think that will make it very cute. But a bigger head is almost always better. More brain fuzz. Something like that. I don't know. I got this set of safety eyes from Amazon. I will try to link the set I got below, but they had a lot of really good sets, and I wanted to get some that would work for most of the characters that we're going to be doing in this series. Did I mention that this is a series? Oh yeah, this is a series. I'm excited about it. Once the head was adequately stuffed, I switched over to yellow, and I started trying to make the shoulders. I frogged this a couple of times because I wasn't sure exactly how I wanted to do it. As you can see, I at some point decided to try and graph everything out on paper. Frogged this and absolutely hated it, and then I just sort of started increasing it the way you would with just a normal circular object, and I liked that a lot better. And then just to create shoulders, I skipped stitches where I wanted the armholes to be, and it worked pretty well for me. And I think this is an I Love This yarn as well, and I'm hoping the color name is just yellow, but if it's not, I have no idea. I switched colors in the back of the body to sort of hide the transition a little bit better, and I switched over to orange. This is I Love This yarn in orange, which is a very bright orange, and I did not like it too much. I haven't been able to find an I Love This yarn orange shade that I prefer for a lot of projects, but I switched over to that to make the belt, and then I closed off half the body, sort of like how I did with the armholes, and started on the legs, and then I just crocheted into the open stitches to create the legs and the feet. I did crochet separate patches to do the bottom of the feet so that they would be flatter instead of more rounded, and I like how this effect was. I used to do something sort of like this with animal feet and I really liked it. The second day of crocheting, Daisy came to supervise me. She's also supervising me right now. She's sitting in my chair while I do this voiceover. She is a very thorough supervisor. I'm very lucky. But the second day I spent sewing on the feet and then also crocheting all of the limbs. And I just crocheted into the open stitches the way you would if you were doing a color change or just crocheting like normal, honestly. Since I didn't have a pattern, I was just using the design I had drawn out as a reference to be able to do the arms. I think I did like 3 tries on each arm. I absolutely hated the arms, and I am really looking forward to tweaking arms in the next character because I still don't like how they came out in the end, but I think the final result wasn't too bad. It's just something that I would like to improve on, and like I said, I just crocheted into the open stitches like if I were to be doing a color change. Because hands, you know, are kind of balled up anyways, unless you're adding fingers, which yeah, I would not do on something this small. I just went ahead and crocheted them closed instead of adding a flap. I think that would have made them look a little too much like feet. And because I added stuffing before deciding to frog them, even though I knew I didn't like how they were looking, they were a not nice word to frog, and I did have to pull out the trimmers. If you don't like the design of something, don't add stuffing before you frog it because the fibers get stuck in the yarn and it creates a mess. And then you use a little bit of yarn that you could have repurposed. So that is the thing that I learned today. final crochet detail for this project was Aang's little shawl. You could also just cut this out of fabric, but I wanted to try crocheting it because it looked like there was at least a little bit of shape work to it, and it just sort of looks like a round flap, which is a very nice descriptor now that I say it out loud. Anyways, I had fun making this one out. I used Yarn Bee yarn for it, which is another Hobby Lobby brand, and I think the color name was also orange, but I have no idea. This one I did have the wrapper for, so I will be able to put that in the description. Once everything was crocheted and attached, I decided to go ahead and make the signature arrow twice, because I didn't like how the first one came out. I also don't like how the second one came out, but I wasn't about to try frogging it again. I used a piece of blue felt and I drew it out with a light blue marker, and then I used light blue embroidery thread to sew it to the head. And then when I decided I did not like it, I very carefully, very tediously used the back of my needle to pull everything out. I didn't want to use a seam ripper for this because I was afraid that it would mess with the fibers of the crocheted fabric and possibly mess with the felt, because both of those fray pretty easily, so you had to go nice and slow with this. If you don't like how something is coming out in your project, you can undo it. It's just sometimes with something like this, you just have to be really careful with it, and I feel like that is something important worth knowing. I did try to redo it, like I said, and I tried to pin it a little more carefully. It still came out pretty crooked, but it was straighter than the first time, which I'm just gonna have to live with for now, because I do think I've already decided I'm going to be redoing Aang as soon as I've decided how I like to do human people. I hope that makes sense. I'm hoping that with like more character creations, I'll figure out how I like to shape people and humanoids so that I can go back and redo this and really do it some justice. But it definitely came out a little more straight this time. Once I settled on an arrow design and gave up on trying to redo it, I went ahead, cut out some black felt to make the mouthpiece, and then sewed it with some black thread. I'm not going to be doing this with all of the characters because I think it's a very cartoony-like, and I wish I could make it more detailed, which is another reason why I want to do bigger characters. But for Aang in particular, he's such a happy character, I felt like it was appropriate. Anyways, here is the final result. I really hope you guys like how it came out and liked watching me make him. If this inspires you to make your own, I would love to see it, so tag me on Instagram. And I would really like to know who you think is going to be coming up next, so leave that in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please make sure to hit subscribe so that you can see the upcoming videos, and I will see you guys on Wednesday. Bye.